today I have two APC House of Assembly candidates representing Oshodi Solo constituency, Ladi Ajomale. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have Desmond Elliott, House of Assembly candidate, Surulere 1 constituency. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to start with Desmond. Everybody knows you as an actor or as an entertainer. What prompted that decision to go into politics?
I'd say something that's been in it for a long time, and I was just waiting for the right time, to come out and contribute my own quota, which is pretty much service.
Okay.
And we think it's a time for generational shift in governance and leadership and service. So I just see myself at that point in time being responsible to do such a thing.
Okay, Ladi, in terms of service, is that what politics is all about? Giving service to the people? Is that what exactly everything should center around?
Yes, basically that's what politics is all about. I mean, in our democracy, we say we're supposed to be serving the people, actually, giving back your ideas, your knowledge, whatever it is you have to bring to the table just for the benefit of all those, the general public as a whole entirely. So just like he said, it's a generational shift. So from the youth perspective, we have a lot of ideas to bring to the table in which we do intend to implement, and by the grace of God, we have an advantage to do it now on the platform in which, hopefully by the grace of God, when we get into office, Lagos State House of Assembly, we will perform to the best of our ability.
All right. In looking for generational change, in campaigning, canvassing for generational change, would you say Nigerian youths are actually equipped for nation building, or is it just politics vis-a-vis money?
Well, I believe that's a very good question. Which is the problem we've been having. The youth is growing on a geometric progression, while governance is pretty much arithmetic in its form. And so there's a disconnect between the youths growing up and understanding everything about information and what governments want us to understand and take as this is how you should be. So of course, I think we've far surpassed how the governments of the day want us to think and believe. That's why you find out that youths on their own, when given the opportunity, can actually do way more than the governments of the day are actually telling us to do.
Okay.
And you can see that in entertainment, you can see that in manufacturing, you can see that in scientific work as well, especially when you come to Lagos State and you see the fact that most of those who've handled electricity in Lagos, I'm talking of state, those who've handled medical situations are actually below 30, if not in their mid-30s.
Okay.
So that shows you that the government realizes that the youth and the ability to do things faster and quicker are there. Not to say that the elderly ones are not necessary. They stay as the watch. They make sure that you're being guided and make sure the responsibility comes to.
Okay, I mean, coming on board when you eventually become lawmakers, what are some of those things that we should expect to see? What difference will the youth be making in governance?
Well, from the younger generation of things now, we have loads of ideas, which we may not entirely be able to bring to table, but then on the long run, I'm going to speak from myself now. There are a lot of changes that should be implemented, and hopefully when we get into play, because at the end of the day, there's one thing to go to like a training school, and then there's one thing to actually be at the edge of affairs or at the elms of affairs. So I'd say, speaking from an angle of law, because I studied...
You are a lawyer.
I am a graduate of law. So when it comes to implementation of laws, some of the delays are there because some people who are actually in the system are not like groomed or prepared for those kind of positions. Maybe because they don't have a legal background.
Okay.
But even in our judicial system today, things are slow.
Right.
But then because of our activities and how fast we are, how sharp we are, the way our generation is growing, based on in every aspect of things. We have a lot to bring to the table, which, where I'm going, is faster implementation of laws,
Okay.
faster passing of the bills, making things actually come into play, bringing that state of assembly, the House of Assembly, into light. Because before I came into politics, before I decided to go into the Lagos State House of Assembly, I'd say I'd recognize maybe only 2 or 3 members of the House, which is not meant to be. So things like this is what we intend to change.
Okay.
When you see the activities of the youth involved in the involvement of governance in the implementation of the bills, passing of the bills, and making of the laws, creation of laws, which
Okay.
will benefit the whole public entirely. And dare I say,
And I think
the youth.
basically is just to add a bit to what he's saying, making it visible.
Okay.
That's the point. Making it visible, letting acceptance as well between the populace and the lawmakers.
Okay.
Very important. We also have issues of education, how we can improve upon it. We have issues of now.
Health.
One good thing about us, I want to believe, is the fact that we won't just sit down
Okay.
and say we're just lawmakers.
There's that energy.
Is the extra you do to your constituency
Okay.
and your people, your constituents, and how you relate with them, the information you feed them with, and what you take back to government.
Okay, for this particular election, a lot of youths, at least I'm young at heart, I'm young in age, are willing to participate in this particular election.
Yeah.
How are you mobilizing, especially using the social media?
Yeah.
We have, I believe, a very huge followership when it comes to social network. We engage in them. The good thing is the fact that that platform creates the opportunity to speak your mind. You know, whether you're anonymous or not, you just say whatever you feel like, good, bad, and the ugly. And then we're able to converse and talk to them and say, okay, listen, this. First thing we started with is the fact that you need to understand that your voice is when you vote. It's not about talking and shouting. You have to vote. And then the card is very important, the PVC.
Right.
If you without the PVC, you cannot vote. Now, another thing they need to understand is your PVCs must be well kept. Because if you put it through when you're going to elect, choose whoever
And
you
then the
want,
card reader
and the
doesn't
card
read.
does not read your card, your PVC, then you're not eligible to vote.
Right.
So that is what we need to start sensitizing the people about. Say, listen, no, there's another thing coming up. If you do not handle these cards well, you might not be able to vote,
Okay.
even if you have the card.
Okay, I know that more people would like to come into politics, but for some reason, for godfatherism, for not knowing your own person or thinking, you know, they're not equipped for nation building. How can youths begin to rise up to the challenge of nation building?
Speaking of how they can rise up to the challenge, it's a personal decision at the end of the day. Someone like me, for those who don't know, I've been in a family that has been in the elms of politics for so many years. But not necessarily in the sense that everyone pursues that light. I mean, I'm the only one amongst my siblings who decided to go into politics.
Right.
My father is a strong politician. He's been in the game for so many years. But for me, it was a personal decision at the end of the day. My dad didn't necessarily encourage me to go into it. He's the kind of person who gives you the opportunity to do whatever you
discover
want to
yourself.
do, discover yourself, go for your own potentials and all of that. So it'll be more of an advice to the youth, because it's not for us to sit down and wait for this change to come. It is actually for us to go out there and bring this change. And that is the decisions I believe that we have taken as a younger generation who are going into politics now. So let's not just sit down in the house and wait for things to come, if you can actually do something about it. It doesn't just start with the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You can start by, because I was involved in a lot of NGOs. I've been in so many groups, which we've been trying as much as possible to bring about this change. And then the opportunity has come about, the age is right, the time is right. Why not go for the bigger picture now and see
Okay.
what you can actually give back to the people?
Okay.
So I'd encourage the youth to actually go after what you want to do, because nobody's gonna hand it over to you. You have to go and take it.
Okay. In asking, let me ask both of you, do you also believe that in this system, I'm trying to rephrase a question someone sent. In this system, do we still have imposition of candidates by political godfathers, especially as it comes to your generation?
Well,
Let me start with you, Desmond.
I'm still hoping to have a godfather. It's part of my prayer point right now. With a godfather, everything is easy. Okay? It's not easy to have that. So what you need to do is be your own godfather. And how do you do that? It still goes what he says. Firstly, you must get engaged in activities. You must align with the party.
Okay.
You must be seen to be working with them. Now, it's not imposition. It's when they see you've worked hard enough. And they're like, okay, this guy's been working, blah, blah, blah. He has unquestionable character. He would deliver if we give him the opportunity. And what the party does is give an opportunity. They say, okay, listen, you all want to vie for this thing. Let's not fight about it.
Okay.
Let's see how you guys can go with it. You know, they just create an avenue whereby you can all
Prove
move
yourself.
up and speak, which is one of the reasons I chose this party, and I believe in the norms and the culture of the APC, because that's what it's about. Okay, we're all of the same party. Let's not fight. Let's not. So you guys talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Like there might be 300 people. They say, okay, you guys talk about it. Okay, 300.
And then come to an agreement.
Agree within yourselves, and then we'll say, okay, we'll now be able to push you on, because it's like a guiding. It's a party. It'll guide you into what you want to do.
Oh,
so I
okay.
won't call it imposition.
Okay. Ladi, is it possible to attain full generational shift in the Nigeria's political space?
Oh, yes, it is. Speaking on the platform of the party in which we are coming out, I believe they give you the opportunity to actually move or create that generational shift. And this is where we are today. That's why we're starting from where we are today.
Okay.
They've given us the opportunity to actually come forth. Because they say, okay, the future belongs to those who see possibilities before they become obvious, right? And as the youth, if you have the opportunity to bring something to the table, based on this party in which we are coming from, which is the APC, they let you speak. They give you the opportunity to actually showcase yourself. And then if, from the background in which you're coming from, if the public do approve of you being a candidate, yeah, then by all means, why not? Go ahead. And then we are the ones who will now prove to them that as the youth, as people who have fresh ideas, bright ideas, we're not going to disappoint you. We're going in there to actually work and bring this generational shift to the platform, to the table.
Okay, we must go, but I'd like to take one final word from both of you. Desmond, your final word.
Okay. Firstly, this is Lagos, and we believe in Lagos. We believe in Nigeria. We are the future. The future is here now. I want every youth to hold on to that dream. And there's no better platform to do this than under the platform of the All Progressives Congress.
Okay, your final word, Ladi.
My final word would just be to encourage the youth out there that please do not be deceived and do not relent on bringing this positive change into Lagos, not just Lagos alone, but Nigeria as a whole. And I'd advise that for those of us who have skills, who have the abilities and the knowledge to actually bring something to the table, please, we're working together.
Okay.
We're going there to represent you, and do not hesitate to get in touch with us anyhow you can.
Okay. All right, Ladi, Ajomale, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Desmond Elias, thank you very much for coming on the program
Thank
today.
you.
We actually dragged Desmond here. He didn't really want to do this. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that's the much we can take on today's edition of Morning Desk on Lagos Television. Taking a cue from their last word, it starts from you, so you must desire that change. So your contribution is highly needed for youth to succeed in this generational shift. Thank you very much for watching the program today. God willing, tomorrow the program continues, same time. Do have a fantastic working day ahead. Good morning.